Welcome to the tape deck, where you know we deal with only the golden era of hip hop. That's right, the 90s era. We're going to get into this music, we're going to get into some of this fashion, and we're going to get all the way into this culture. We are not just your hosts, like I remind you every show. We are your 90s family. I'm Money Carson.
And I'm Cash Only Jay.
Cash Only.
And today we're going to get into the Bootcamp Click.
BCC.
OGC.
Helter Skelter.
Black Moon. And heads ain't ready for the click you got.
Duck Down.
Nervous Records.
Let's get right into it. You ready to get right into it?
Yeah, let's smash this thing.
All right, let's go. I don't know if you know. I don't know if they know. But Duck Down Records popped up with Black Moon in 1993. That's when they really first introduced themselves and kicked in the door. You agree?
Yeah, I agree. I remember the first time hearing them, Who Got the Props.
Boom. That's it.
Yeah, that was 93.
1993.
Early 93.
And that cracked Billboard Top 100.
Yeah.
Top 100.
That was a mean joint. That first Black Moon album. I think Buckshot, he kind of carried Evil D, but as a whole, you know, they kind of started making a name for themselves, like Helter Skelter and OGC and Smith and Wesson, but overall, man, they were good, like, for the underground. They definitely were like battle MCs, and they were a super group, that was getting a lot of buzz.
Remember Who Got the Props? I remember loving the hook. I don't think I was all the way in love with that movement yet. I think I was just figuring out hip hop, in 93. But I do remember the record Who Got the Props. I remember watching the video on Rap City The Basement and any other type of video show that we could watch it on back then. I was on all of those. And the same year he dropped Don't Front, You Know I Got You Open. That's when I really heard of him. Like, I knew it was Black Moon, but I just knew Buckshot. Right. I didn't even really know who Evil D was at the time. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna hold you, man. They were like because at that time you had like Lords of the Underground and the Fushnikins.
Yeah.
And it was like they were like kind of wannabe all the way up until I heard How Many MCs. When I heard How Many MCs, that's when I was like, all right, these guys are for real. They have their own identity. And then they actually dropped that first album, the Black Moon album, which I believe that was the name of the album, Black Moon. But
that was the name of the group too.
Yeah,
right.
But the name of the album was Black Moon.
Gotcha.
And then they started to form a supergroup.
Yeah, supergroup for real. When I Googled them, when I went to start my research, first thing that came up was supergroup. And then I know, they only had Black Moon, Buckshot, he did carry him, he killed that. But them as a whole, they was doing their thing. And then in 94, they added Helter Skelter. They added Smith and Wesson.
Right.
That's who they added next.
And they came with sound with the Boom Morel, and they had a classic Bucktown. Yeah. Bucktown was a huge underground joint, and it made the mainstream, and it was starting to get airplay on the radio stations. So I think more and more they were starting to add on. Then they added on with the Beat Misers, and they kind of clicked over to the West Coast with Tupac. They were connected to Tupac and the Outlaws.
Heavy.
And next thing you know, people was like calling for them to do an album, which was For the People, their first album.
I knew Smith and Wesson made it when the gun company pressed them to change their name. You remember that?
Cocoa
pressed
Brothers.
Them. They had to go to the Cocoa Brothers, Tech and Steel. They had to legally change their name because they was making too much hip hop noise. And the gun company, as ironic as that would be, they didn't want to be associated with them.
I remember that. And
the original gun clappers.
It's crazy because when they changed to the Cocoa Brothers, it kind of seemed like they lost their luster.
Coco Bees, they was probably frustrated.
Yeah,
I would be pissed if I made this career, got famous on this name, and then you're like, you got to change your name. What?
Right. They did have a mean joint, underground joint that they had. It was like a Latin feel. Oh man. And was on the Coco Brothers album. But they had Angie Martinez rapping at the end of it.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the song.
The song, man, it just
I ain't gonna front. I had that album, Coco Brothers.
Yeah, the Coco Brothers.
I like Smith and Wesson better, but
way better, because that's what I'm saying. The album lost. I mean, they lost their luster with the name,
probably,
and the album wasn't that good. I know it only had like one or two good joints on it. That, I mean, it would probably be good for underground or like hip hop heads, but it wasn't like nowhere near the first one.
Well, I know I really got all the way in tune with Bootcamp when they signed. When Duck Down and Bootcamp, when they scooped up Helter Skelter and OGC.
Yeah,
that was in '94 too, and then they dropped them in '95.
I'll tell you that Helter Skelter album, the first one, Nocturnal, yeah, Nocturnal was mean.
Yeah.
Man. That was a joint that
place to be is on my side, dude, because you don't want to be the target when I fly the coop. They was wilding on that.
Yeah, they really was. I used to have play Monopoly.
Mm-hmm. I hate that game, but I hear you.
I love Monopoly. Well, I had two cousins that loved it, and they cheated. And like me and my brother, we were like upstanding the game. We just know how to play the game.
Yeah.
So we kept up with them. And my brother, he became a cheat too. He was on the bank. But I remember we used to play that Helter Skelter, like Monopoly games back to back. And remember, at that time, that's when we had those terrible winters. So we be like stuck in the house, man, playing spades. Our boss man, he's a very good spades player. I'm looking at him right now. I mean, one of the best that ever did it. But I mean, I just had to reference to that real quick. But going back to the Helter Skelter thing, man. We used to listen to that, and then the OGC came through, and I loved OGC.
Wait. Let's go one at a time. Let's stay on Helter Skelter for a minute.
Got you.
When I first heard Rock's voice, Rockness Monster, his voice was crazy to me, blew my mind. And then Ruck's wordplay, crazy to me. Rest in peace, Sean Price. That nigga said, Buenos Dias, you know me as Ruck L. Numero uno, papi chulo, sticking it to your chick culo. Hard to kill like them white boy hackers, snatch an MC off the Mac, and for the simple fact he's whack. Now what's the deal? I feel they can't get with Sean. Whipping out on bitch ass niggas since the Decepticons. He was a monster.
He was a monster. It just seemed like when they came on the scene, they took the Bootcamp clique to like another level.
Well, in 95, that's when they dropped the Fab Five.
Right.
Le Fleur, Escorshka. I still don't know what that phrase means or what. I think they was just smoking and said some gibberish, but that song was classic.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, y'all. That was classic.
That right there, when they jumped out, the video with the jerseys, the Warren Moon, the Emmitt Smith, and I forget who the other one had on, but they all had jerseys in. They looked so cool with the Timbs and the Brooklyn look. I was definitely feeling them. And when you say La Fleur, I always think of Trading Places when Dan Aykroyd said, "Yeah, it tells time all over the world," and even Stog. Like, yo, man, this dude is like just saying anything. Like, I'm not. Where the hell is Stog?
Sky. I know they didn't have a bunch of platinum success, but I know they were all over the New Jersey Drive soundtrack, and that went gold.
Right, and they from an underground field, they sold like, I think.
They did they thing.
Yeah, they capped off like each time when they jumped off. It's like at least 60,000 copies. I mean, easy, like right from the rip, which is kind of hard to do. Well, at that time, it's hard to do.
So we talked about Nocturnal. What was your favorite record on Nocturnal?
The Fab Five joint.
Yeah,
that was the one that, I mean, that was my favorite, even though that was the most like mainstream and the one that was getting all the play. But That's because all of them was on there.
Yeah.
You know, the boot camp click, you know. So I guess that would be my favorite joint on that album.
All right. Then you brought up the Storm, OGC, Starang Wonder, Top Dog, Louisville Slugger, Punk Chump, your brain just blew. It's the original Gun Clapper crew. That album was tough.
Yo, my favorite one is the one when the guy is trying to G him up to sign a contract.
The record deal. Yeah.
That was my shot. That was now I'm gonna cut to the chase. That was my favorite joint on that one. I would play that one over and over and over again because I just wanted to hear the guy like trying to G him down. I'll make you a movie star, I'll make you this and that.
I loved the No Fear record.
Okay. And
it took me, I didn't realize they was dissing Biggie until the video came out though.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny. I saw an interview, and I didn't know that they really had that. The tension was as high as it was.
Yeah, it was real. It was real. When I listening to the record, being a young boy and not knowing nothing from nothing, but what I loved that record. And then when the video came out, I was like, oh, because I love Biggie too. And I'm torn. I'm like, wait, they all from New York, and it's a problem. But yeah, that was a big record. That was a record for me that I'm like, okay, I'm rocking with these dudes too. Because like I said, Buckshot was cool. Black Moon was cool to me. Wasn't in love or crazy with him or nothing like that. But that's what my older cousins was listening to. So that's kind of what I curved into.
Right.
When Helter Skelter came through, I had my own copy of the Nocturnal album.
Okay.
Me and my man Jock Quinn, shout out to him. We used to ride to school listening to that. You know what I'm saying? I knew that front to back. I still do it. If it come on, I know it. Nocturnal was heavy. And then OGC The Storm, that No Fear is the reason I even bought that album.
Yeah, that OGC album, man, was smashing. I remember my boy Chris, he loved that album. And he would play that joint, you know, back to back, side to side. And, you know, just touching on the beef with Big and Junior Mafia, I just thought it was weird, like you said, man, because they both was from Brooklyn. They was like kind of seeing each other. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, Tupac, he loved Bootcamp Click. You know, I know he flew him out to L.A. Yeah. There was some famous stories where like Suge wasn't feeling him because they was from out there, you know, because he was like really, I guess, you know, he was really kind of egging that on or whatever. But Pac was like, nah, these are my homies, man, and they riding where I'm riding. So, you know, he definitely, he loved them. And then, you know, on certain outlaw interviews, they would bring them up and they always show love to each other. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
I know Bootcamp Click, man, they had somewhat of a cult following, a serious following. Right. I remember one summer league, I was headed to a summer league game. Excuse me. Me and all my cousins and our homies, we played in the same area. So I was arguing with my mans about who was better, Bootcamp Click or Wu-Tang. And to be honest with you, I don't know whose side I was on. But I know the argument was so real that he threatened to dunk on me while we was in the car on the way to the game because we wasn't seeing eye to eye. Wow. It was Mike Covage.
Oh, shit.
Do you remember that? Yo, he was so mad at me because I wasn't I don't remember which one of us was for the Wu and which one of us was for Bootcamp Click. But he was like, I'm a dunker. He tried too. It almost happened, but I lucked out. But yeah, Bootcamp Click was a huge part of my hip hop growing up, and especially in the 90s. I remember they hated. They brought the fatigue pants out, but they hated if you wore sneakers with them.
Yeah,
they would say that on, and if you wear motherfucking jeans and sneakers, fatigues and sneakers, I'm bringing it to you. They used to wild out over that. They took their dress code real serious. That's when the army jackets came into play heavy.
I got a story too, man, which is crazy that I forgot all about. So me and that dude Chris, we're at Funko Mart, the original Funko Mart down in Center City. And Black Moon is there. Well, really Buckshot. Mm-hmm. And
he got you open?
Nah, he didn't get me open, but he kind of pissed me off. He got me pissed off because he was signing pictures, you know. Yeah. And, you know, I was kind of excited, you know, like, this is the dude who got the props. Da, da, da. So he puts on my picture Peace to Big J from Philly. And at first I didn't look at it. I just was like, oh yeah, he shot my joint. Da, 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 da. And we get on the train and I look down. I'm like,
it said from Philly. You could wipe that out.
Bummer.
Bummer. I'd have found a nigga named Jay in Philly and sold it to him. Or I'd have just cut the bottom of the picture. Peace to Big J. Sweet.
Yeah, man. And the picture looked all hard and thugged out. He's like, he got the hood on and glasses, sunglasses, and Big J from Philly.
That's
Peace
funny.
Big J
That's
Philly.
funny.
Crazy.
Yep. And then so in 95, Fab 5 drop. 96, Nocturnal drop. 96, The Storm drop. And then 97 for the People drop. That was the Bootcamp compilation. That had the Night Rider, Night Rider. I'm going to listen to that when I leave here now.
Yo, that was a joint.
That was that work, bro. That was that work. That was that work.
Or as the brothers from Philly would say, that Joan.
That Joan. That's Joan. Let's get into some videos. You want to go first or am I going first?
Okay. I like Heads Ain't Ready.
Oh my, those are you ready? That one?
No, the one Heads Ain't Ready for the.
Okay. Yeah. That was all of them though. That was Bootcamp.
Yeah, that was Bootcamp.
Right. I remember that, John.
Oh, go ahead. Well, you got one?
My first one is my first video is the No Fear video. Okay. Because while I was a Biggie fan, to me, I was shocked that somebody would go at him like that. Because the only time in hip hop I had seen that before that was when Snoop and Dre dissed
New York.
Yeah, this Easy E. When they dissed Easy E.
Oh yeah.
That's all
right.
Other than that, I hadn't seen nothing like that. Right. So then when I'm like, yo, they not only are they going at the King, they going at Biggie, but they also doing it in the video. That took a lot of heart to me. I'm like, oh, these niggas really don't care. Yeah. So No Fear sticks out to me as one of their premier, key videos.
My other joint is how many MCs, like Buck. Like you said, he's in the Army fatigues, the boots, looking too hard, too tough, man. It's still tight joint. And he's talking hella cash money. You know what I mean? But, you just had the feeling, man. I love his cadence. The video was like kind of like dreary, workman type video. So it was like they putting in work. So that was one of my favorite joints. How many MCs?
One of my favorites from Bootcamp was Helter Skelter Therapy. You remember that?
Yeah.
A lot of people slept on that record. That video was ill. They was in the doctor's office. He had the coat doctor's coat on. Yeah. And it was really like a session, like bust the prognosis. Better yet, Duke, have a dosage of prescribed poetry that people would think is potent. I've been going through your file and I found a conclusion that you destined to be the best in this world of confusion. Yo, they was killing that. What'd he say? Have you been touched the wrong way? No. And got involved in gunplay? The time, let me guess, acquitted like you was OJ. Typical black life, you jackknife son of a sea biscuit. Get specific and stop messing around with them pipes. They was really having a therapy session in that record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bummy Jab's only married to Joanna. And instead of helping you, getting me heated like a sauna. The dialogue in that joint and the way they put that video together, that was one of the video made that one of my favorite cuts on the album. I remember that when I was a youngin'.
Right. And I guess my third one is we already referenced to is Le Fleur, Skoshka.
Le Fleur, Skoshka.
They was probably blazed up, man.
Absolutely.
Super blazed up.
Absolutely.
But they was so smooth with it, and they just spitting, man.
I'm gonna ask Siri. Hold on, let me see something. Hey Siri. Oh, she don't want to work. She be acting up.
Never heard of her.
Hey Siri, define Le Fleur, Skoshka.
Here's what I found.
She's telling me about Kelly LaFleur. It don't exist. I don't think it exists. They definitely made that up.
Oh wow!
If anybody out there knows what Le Fleur, Skoshka, if you can give me a definition for that. I got a reward for you. You know what I'm saying? Get at me. Money Carson. Spell Carson with an I, not an O, or some weirdo will pop up. All right, I'm going to go with my next video. My next video, Operation Lockdown.
Dang.
It went down like this. One little nigga snuck through the door. The way they put that scene together, BCC. The fire and all that, BCC. What? It went down like this. That right there, that video was crazy, bro. Wow. That was a staple, a stamp in the Bootcamp Click timeline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's when you was looking at them and you was like, okay, they are in these type of conversations. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was big. That was big to me. Pause. You know what I mean? In my head. Let's get into some
money.
Some verses.
Well, you got the verses, man. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I like their tracks and their songs, but I'm not versed on their verses. So why don't you give me some?
Nocturnal album. Ruck. Song Sean Price. I'm not sure anymore who is knocking at my door. Other people that I knew acted funny when Big Ruck got some loot. He killed that. But I wasn't like my Terrabellum fly, and they can't with me or mine. Some say Sean Price is nicest on mic devices, pack power that make me more mightier than ISIS. He went nuts on that joint. Real smooth. That's one of my favorite verses from Bootcamp Click right there.
Smash the like button and tell this man how thorough he is. He remembers these joints. Tell him.
Because I used to listen to him nonstop. And you know what else I used to do? Once I got an album, if I loved it, I played it while I went to sleep. You'll be surprised at how much stuff you remember when you wake up.
Wow.
Like a lot of these records, I'll be riding and I'll put my phone on shuffle and it'll play a song and I'll rap the whole song and be like, I didn't even know I knew that song still.
Wow.
To be honest with you. You know what I'm saying?
That's MC right there.
Another ill verse was Rockness' verse on Operation Lockdown, because in his verse he really tells you how Bootcamp Click got on. That's why he starts it. It went down like this. One little nigga snuck through the door. He's talking about buckshot.
Right.
Peeped the scene, sniped a few, then picked off a few more. Heads was getting nervous. That's 3. Now they wanted 3. Buckshot, Smith, and Wesson.
Right.
Too late. Down the door. Got tore straight the golf. It's on now. Now we're all here. OGC and Helter Skelter as well.
Yo, and it's crazy, man, because they had so many connections, East Coast, West Coast. Like, you know, they dealt with Primo, digging in the crates, and you know, going back to Tupac with you know, Daz did some of their production, helped out on some of their production, and you know, they did the songs with what is it, Men at Arms? That was the joint with Tupac, and they did another joint with the Outlaws. So, like, you know, you at that time, man, you had to be a bad boy, man, to be like just banging with both sides, East and West like that.
Check this out. I'm about to mess somebody's head up. What is the first thing you hear on that Nocturnal album? Does anybody know? It's something before the intro. I don't even know if everybody's heard it, because I've told people this and they're like, I'm lying, and then I turn it on for them and they're like, oh. The first thing you hear when you turn on that Nocturnal album is you hear somebody say, what the hell is your dick doing in the milk, man?
Whoa.
No lie. And then it hits, this BCC. No lie. So grab the Nocturnal project and just click play. First thing you're going to turn it up. First thing you're going to hear in the background is, what the hell is you doing in the milk, man?
Wow.
I don't know what that was about. I don't know what was happening. But the album was fire. But I don't know what that was about. Now let's get back on course. Let's get back to some of these all-time duck down verses. Another one for me was Louisville Slugger. What song was Punk Chump? Your brain just blew. It's the original gun clapper crew rushing through 3 on 3. You can't see we cause we stay tight and not too many niggas wanna fight. I think that was on No Fear. He bodied that. Louisville Slugger was my favorite from OGC.
I always thought he said gun clapper number 2.
He might have.
Okay. All right. Wow.
Yeah. Punk Chump, your brain just blew. It's the original. Oh, I don't know what he said. Is Crew or gun clapper number 2? It both works because he was number 2. Right. Starang was number 1. Durang was number one. You know what? Audience, if you listening, you tell us. Did he say The Crew or did he say Gun Clapper number 2?
And
because he was 2. Durang was 1, he was 2, Top Dog was 3.
Right.
Unpopular opinion, never really cared for Top Dog. I'm sorry.
Hey, Jay, tell that story that time you got the clap around that time.
Oh, man. Original what clappers?
Bernie Johnson. Ooh. I know it.
Oh, man. He did him dirty.
Damn.
He did him dirty. Let me think. When we said the Shaw Price verse, we said the Louisville Slugger verse, and we said the Operation Lockdown verse, Rockness.
Right.
Yeah, we got those. Let's get into some of this fashion, man, because they was heavy into what their fashion was.
Yeah.
So the first thing on my list for fashion in this episode are the fatigues. They were rocking the fatigue pants heavy. They were rocking the army jackets. They had the fatigue ones. They had the black ones. They had the army green ones, all solid ones. And of course, niggas started wearing those. That was heavy.
And then they had the Super Tims. I think the first one, how many MCs they had a pair of Super Tims on.
The high pups.
The high joints.
Yeah.
So that would be my fashion.
I had Timberlands, but you could take that one. You're gonna take that one because that's a given. That's a given.
That was one of your joints.
Yeah. But we talk about boot camp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They did have somewhat of a dress code.
Right.
Fatigues and boots. Fatigues and Timberlands. They didn't do sneakers. They hated sneakers. It's all on their raps, all on their interludes.
Right.
Darn, I kind of did 2 at 1 because my other one was the army coats because they did rock the matching army coats heavy. I remember I went and had to get me an army coat, Army Navy. Good looking out.
Yeah, I definitely was hitting I Goldberg at that time.
I forgot about that place.
Yeah, man. You know, I
said I Goldberg.
Yo, I love that place, man. Flight jackets, fatigue suits. That's where I got my first North Face. The first time I seen a War Ridge, I'm like, damn, this coat is just too much.
I Goldberg.
And they had everything in there. And I think they polarized the jerseys, the NFL football jerseys in the Florida Scotian video. I mean, people was wearing them, but it was like, they had the moon one on there that was really the one that really caught my eye. Like, oh, Black Moon, damn. And that's where they had they had a Raiders jersey, a Cowboys jersey, and the Warren Moon Vikings jersey. And they look good. And I remember my girlfriend, she got me that Emmitt Smith jersey, the dark blue joint 22, for my 21st birthday.
Dope.
A pair of Timbs and that. And some
so you was like jeans. The 7th nigga in Bootcamp clip.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I was sawed off. Yeah, you could have called me sawed off.
Original gun clapper number 4, right here.
Sawed off shotgun.
That's it. I got a question. I had a question, but then I might have lost it. I ain't gonna lie to you guys.
Right.
It was a good one. I'm trying to go off of what you were saying. You said it, and I didn't want to cut you off, and I didn't retain it. So we're probably gonna move forward.
Okay.
And then it'll probably come back to me.
Well, my second joint was the jerseys. So I went with the Timbs and the jerseys. You was with the fatigues and the
army jacket.
The army jacket, yeah.
Right, but it was a side note. Fun fact. It's all good.
Okay.
Let me see. How about, what's your film of the week?
My film of the week in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my film of the week let me see. I'll go with Mo Better Blues.
Ooh, that's a good one. Unpopular statement. I once said this, and my daughter was young, and she was fake sleep in the back of the car. I didn't know she was awoke, but I learned how to knock boots. That's the most PGest way I could say it. From watching that movie. I was watching that movie at way too young of an age. Wesley Snipes, when he took Dude Shorty. I was like, all right, so that's how I got to do it when I get my chance.
When my man was like, here comes a bird.
Yeah,
man.
That's a good pick, though. That's definitely a crazy movie, a dope movie, heavy musically influenced. They was playing jazz, but it's still the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's a dope movie.
People don't like, if you really pay attention, if you've seen the movie, it kind of remind me of Lady Sings the Blues, but a male version, because there's a beat down in the end, there's a beat down in the end with that. There's a lot of jazz, there's a lot of turmoil. Spike Lee, his character Giant, actually has an addiction, and Billie Holiday, she has an addiction. Right. So there's a lot of parallels to that movie, and both of those movies was like my movies. But that was my joint.
They was both based in the same thing, the music biz, and that's what was going on. All right, so I'm gonna jump to 1992, and I'm gonna go pull this gem out the back of the closet. Deep Cover.
Ooh, good movie.
Deep Cover. Dead in the middle of Little Italy. Deep Cover. Shout out to Lawrence Fishburne. I don't want no smoke with lie.
Oh man, he ready to get me mashed out by that guy.
Yeah, that's my. I remember that movie, man. That movie was crazy. Even as a young, that's another movie I'm pretty certain. Like when I look at the dates, I shouldn't have been watching that because of my age, but that movie was ill. I'll never forget it. Matter of fact, I know for a fact I saw that at the Pennsauken Mart John. I know for a fact I saw that at the Pennsauken Mart John.
My favorite character was the guy, I forget his name, light-skinned dude. He was all hied up, and he snitched on Lawrence.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And he was like, he always had like some kind of joke, and he was like eating a popsicle, and he was like, "Yo, you want it? Kill it." Yo, that dude was crazy, man. But that movie was a really good movie.
Yeah, that movie's nuts. That movie's bananas, man.
Yeah, man.
What's your second movie?
My second movie,
or film?
My second film,
because it can be TV, people.
Right. My second film has to be another Wesley Snipes joint. It's him and his brother. Yo, the movie's drawing a blank so hard.
His brother,
Sugar Hill. Yes. Our production man just gave me that. Sugar Hill, man. Romeo. Yeah, Romello and his brother.
Yeah, Romello.
And one of my favorite parts is when they're ready to do this deal with these Africans, and my man's like, "Gata." He's like, "Yo, what the fuck is it?" When they go off in the club, and it's like a couple of crazy parts in that movie that I really was feeling. Like the dad was like, "Yo, you see my church boy cut?" He's all up, and his hair was all slicked back. And then another part of that movie that I really liked was when
my church boy cut.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. When they had the rival, I guess the Italian big boy, they had him up on the roof, and they spin on him and singing "You Gotta Let It Go," with a TKO, and shooting him in his legs because early on I think the dude that shot his dad up like that. So man, that was a dope movie, man. That was one of my favorites in the 90s film.
My next movie, I just gotta check the date. 1996. Set It Off.
Ooh,
Queen Latifah, Vivica Fox, Jada Pinkett, and that other chick.
Yeah, you talking about the one that the one that had the son, that they took the son from her?
Yeah, she was the first one to get popped, right?
Yeah. That was kind of
shout out to her. I'm sorry I don't know your name, but you did good too.
Yeah,
that movie was crazy. That movie was vivid. That movie was hard body.
Yeah, it was. Queen Latifah,
that's a staple
man.
in the 90s. Everything Queen Latifah did was a staple, to keep it a buck.
She was so gangster in that joint, man.
Yeah, she was. She went out like a warrior.
Yeah.
She went out with the whole "I'm not going back" mind state.
Right. And you hear all these cats, man, they say that, but they wouldn't have did it like that. They'd be like, okay, man,
Yeah.
But she definitely did her thing in that movie, man. She just showed her versatility in that joint, man.
Yeah, she killed them roles. They all killed them roles. All four of them, they did that.
Right.
You got another one?
I'll say the second Mission Impossible. It doesn't have anything to do with hip hop, but
it's almost like you was reading my mind, because in my mind I was like,
yeah, hey. But I'm gonna tell you what was hip hop in it. It was like the last scene when Tom Cruise is fighting the dude, man, and they was fighting to the end.
And then he freestyled.
Nah, he didn't freestyle. Oh, well, he probably did in his combination, but it was like, when they was fighting like they was two broke niggas, man, trying to get on. Like, for real, man.
I give you that one.
It was like a real stomp beat down. Like, nigga, I'm getting this deal. One way or the other.
All right, I got a question for you and for everybody out there, right? Does Bootcamp Click deserve to be compared to the Wu-Tang? Because I've heard people say, oh, that would be a dope versus. And then I've heard people say they don't deserve to be compared to the Wu. I think Bootcamp really did their thing. I think as a group, a large group, you know what I'm saying? I'm a dance dad. And in dance, you got your solos. Oh, pardon me. You got your solos, you got your groups, and you got your large groups. I consider Wu a large group. I consider Bootcamp a large group. Do they deserve? Is that a matchup that's worthy?
Yeah, because I think in their heyday, like when they were on, like when they started it, Ignite, they matched up well.
But can they last? They don't. Okay, so yeah, I agree. The conversation is credible, but they couldn't do a versus.
Nah, well, I think Wu-Tang has too many hits.
Too many.
I think that's just like with the Locks and the
Nah, we can't use that Locks and Dipset, because you really want to be technical. Dipset had more hits.
Well, no, this is what I'm saying to that. I think there's a different class. Like, Dipset, they had their culture, they had their mass, they had their following. They were all radio. They were cool, like Bootcamp Click, but it's just like they're not the Locks. Just right. Like the Wu-Tang, like Wu-Tang is Wu-Tang and Bootcamp Click is Bootcamp Click. Like for hip hop heads, you can't really say, oh yeah, well one's better than the other. It's just like, yo, this is them. And today I'm rocking with them. And this is them, and today I'm rocking with them. If that makes any sense.
It does. So now here goes another question. Why did Bootcamp not reach the success level that Wu-Tang did? What was their glass ceiling? What was their problem?
It might have been too real. Because, like, Wu-Tang...
But see, I don't remember Wu-Tang ever softening up.
It's not that. I think that... they kind of came commercial, some of them. Like,
did they, or did the commercial just accept them? Because there's not too many records where you could be like, yeah, they did that just for that. The most commercial record in my head that comes out of Wu-Tang is Tommy Lantana. That Ghostface lives on the road. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that was something Ghostface would have did one way or another.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk too much about Wu. I want to try to keep it
right.
Bootcamp. I'm getting too far left, but I'm saying, to me, everything was there, but for some reason they didn't get to that same Wu-Tang level.
They just seemed like they were, again, like, I don't know if they were marketable. Like, the Wu was marketable for whatever reason. Maybe because they had the Shaolin type thing going on. And they had characters. Like, that's the thing. Bootcamp, these dudes weren't characters. They were like goons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So you had Old Dirty Bastard. And you had, RZA, Prince Rakim and
Capadonna. Shout out to Capadonna. He's a solid dude, bro. I was just with him for a minute. We kicked it for quite some time too. That was ill.
Yo, and that's funny that you say that, because years ago when he dropped his joint, he's in Philly, and we had like like an at-length conversation, like conversations, like sitting there just talking, like two regular brothers.
Yeah, my homie Apollo Ali, he was actually about to sign to Sean Price right before Sean Price passed. And him and my homie Verb, they got to do a couple records with Sean Price. Oh, wow. And that was pretty dope to me because, you know what I'm saying, that's my boys, and that's one of my favorite rappers. Like, I remember when Sean Price, we're getting out of the 90s, but we're staying Bootcamp Click, when he started dropping his solo projects. Okay. He had that Monkey Bars. That project was crazy. But let's reverse this back to the 90s.
Good dudes, though. Shout out to Apollo and Verb.
Yeah, good absolutely. Dudes, my homies. But yeah, back to the 90s, man. I think, not that I don't want to end it on a taking anything away note from Bootcamp Click. I think they were incredible. I think they got the accolades. They put out some dope records. Their movement was ill. They stayed loyal and true to the Duck Down records, even when the label jumped to different distributors and different labels. Their roster was always intact. Right. You never heard about, Helter Skelter ain't with Duck Down no more. Smith and Wesson, the Cocoa Bees ain't with Duck Down no more. You never really heard too much inside turmoil from them. I'm sure they bumped heads as brothers, but it was never that public. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you know what? That's money right there, because you never did hear any kind of beef, or if you hear any of their interviews, none of them shit on each other, or I had to take this one to court, or I had to do this, or I had to do that to get my publishing. None of that stuff, And I mean, that stuff happens, man.
And dudes was super witty, dog. Like, who would have think your name's Ruck and you yelling "Ruck the world"? That was kind of brilliant. We gonna rock the world, yelling "Ruck the world," Ruck and rock.
Right,
Ruck and rock. Them, Helter Skelter, OGC, they were definitely my favorites from the Bootcamp Click. If you had to pick one, who's your favorite?
In the Bootcamp Click?
Yup. And give me some of y'all's in the comments. Who's your favorite from the Bootcamp Click?
I would say Buckshot.
I'm going Ruck. I'm going Sean Price.
Yeah, you've been referencing them for the whole segment, basically.
Yeah. That ain't the knock at the door. He's one of my favorite rappers. I got 3 favorite rappers of all time, and Sean Price is one of the 3.
Rest in peace. He was nice. Facts. He was definitely nice, man. Facts. He was money. Definitely money. So we're gonna end off, man, on the show, man. Thanks for the support. It's always family, it's always love.
Always.
And just smash the like button, downloads, subscribe,
follow that good stuff, all that good stuff.
The Patreon, support us on there. Come check us out on live, YouTube, follow the channels, and then I'm just handing over to my man. So hold it down.
Listen, man, next Thursday, get right back with us. We're going to have a whole nother episode. And we got to shout out leader of the Pack Productions. And we got to shout out the man that makes it happen, a.k.a. your favorite plug, a.k.a. Mr. 2 a.m., a.k.a. with a face too easy to trace, a.k.a. the Red Wolf.
Howlin' Wolf.
I thought you was going to howl, my man.